welcome to the news. Welcome to the news. So today what we're thinking about, the first thing right out the gate is that all people are like vehicles. Yeah, similar to the ones on the street. So what I mean by that, well, people are vehicles. How again is it similar to like vehicles on the street? What are we all? What are people all? People all are. People all are businesses. People are all energies. People are all investors. People are all players of differing games as well. And as well, they are all vehicles. So the intention of acknowledging this is to tune the vehicles to the right frequencies. Yeah. It's very also important to be able to acknowledge that people are all vehicles, to be able to understand what those vehicles are capable of. Oh yeah, so what we all are doing is playing different frequencies at all given times, like a radio. Oh yeah, we need to tune our frequencies to the right interest so that the interest of the direction of the vehicles is aligned with where it should be, where it can be. And to be able to do that, it's necessary to be able to acknowledge what types of things it's capable of and what types of vehicles it is to begin with. But in addition, it's also purposeful to be able to acknowledge that the vehicle is a vehicle to begin with, because once that is acknowledged, then it's also acknowledged what the tools are that are attached to that, like what the 0 to 60 speed is, and how those vehicles, like if it was a car, is able to maneuver, and how it's able to maneuver, and how fast it's able to maneuver, and what the actual ratios are within the engineering, within the vehicle, and how it compares to other vehicles on the street, and how, in of itself, vehicles as a whole are able to facilitate themselves in terms of their capabilities, in terms of steering, turning with speed and with agility, and going up a mountain and going down, and being able to use corners to their advantage, to be able to turn in and out of certain maneuvering courses and obstacles and items that are sometimes hurdles, to be able to go around them and at what speeds, and using the statistics that are within the vehicle to be able to use that information to your advantage by understanding more about what the vehicle does and who and what it is and the frequency that it entails, to be able to optimize the performance of that certain type of vehicle. And so this has to do with yesterday's podcast, where in essence it was acknowledged and addressed that all people have the ability to activate themselves as players and also to activate themselves as investors by being able to acknowledge what they are able and capable of, and what they are capable of investing their time into. And so that's an investment. Your time is an asset. Every single day there's an investment of attention into different items, into different spaces, into different places, into different ways. For the most part, it's necessary to facilitate a functioning process and life and process of living into every day, and it's necessary to invest into certain attentions based upon the existence of a global ecosystem in today's existence, as it was, and how it pertains to yesterday, and how it pertains to countries that are all stories that have to do with yesterday in essence, and that are still percolating today, whereas it's not necessarily necessary to be able to 100% play those stories out in today's day, because everything has changed, and everybody has changed, and everybody sheds cells on a day-to-day basis. So, in terms of being able to invest energy into different directions, that is a capability, that is a possibility, that is a thing that is able to be done by the interest of being able to focus on what's more important, which is something that's interpersonally different for every single person, but at the same time, everybody's playing together at the same time in the whole world every single day, and everybody should be able to acknowledge this. So by acknowledging it, it makes it an available process to be able to change that process, to be able to optimize everybody's life by being able to actually acknowledge and play everybody's life like it is worth acknowledging on the street, like everybody's acknowledging every other car on the street, like everybody acknowledges everybody's presence on the street so that everybody is safe, everybody's happy, nobody has any mishaps, so that everything and everyone can roll smoothly, and everything does roll smoothly, and it's an economy that is rolling smoothly, but every single car is absolutely acknowledged for the safety of everyone, because if one thing goes wrong in one instance, then the whole chain is compromised necessarily. So it's very relevant and valuable to be able to acknowledge every car on the street as a completely unique and relevant item that has to do with the whole process to be able to flow significantly and functionally, so that everything is in line and in tune and smooth, and everything continues to adjust as everything continues to maneuver on the streets. And so, yeah, what is this all even trying to infer? Well, it also goes back to yesterday's podcast in terms of talking about players. Everybody's a player of games in this world, and meaning that, like, when they have free time, they play games. They play different games with their time as well, so they can go out and they'll go to do different things that sometimes have to do with drinking, or sometimes have to do with going to events that are interesting and entertaining to certain people, because that's just what their niche is interested in doing. Oh yeah, necessarily. So everybody's playing like when we're as kids, but everything is a little bit different when you're adults, because the offerings are a little bit different, and it always it has to do with, and it caters to money. So in essence, everybody has the ability to choose as well with their attention. They can invest with their attention in the games that they play necessarily. So as they continue to invest in different games, that it is necessary to be able to invest your attention into different directions, and that direction and every single second of every single day and every single bit of time has to do with the type of vehicle, after all, that type of vehicle and that type of car becomes, because it's being tuned with a different program that has to do with the direction and the trajectory of that car and that vehicle as time goes on, and it's actually being refined in the process and the program and the tuning of that specific vehicle and that specific car, how that car's direction is continually being retuned and refined and redirected based upon the things and the energy which it consumes, and the things and the items that it consumes with its time and its energy and its attention, to be able to redirect itself into the navigation system, to be able to program itself into where it's driving on the metaphorical streets and the worlds of the road in a metaphorical sense, so that in essence it is aligned with how that car is tuned and how it performs based upon its connectivity to the greater, in a metaphorical sense, streets that has to do with the global ecosystem, which also has to do with and translates to business in a direct sense, and translates to business in terms of every car and everybody in the world being a car, and everybody in the world being a vehicle, and everybody in the world corresponding to a different type of process that has to do with everybody else's car on the street. And when it's looked at that way in terms of business and such things, there's many different businesses that actually are trying to make other people that are smaller cars sort of focus on different things to be able to play their games, and that ultimately has to do with games in essence. So that in essence is sort of a part of the process, because games being played on a continuous basis is having to do with choice, and choice is something that can be chosen, and chosen is something that can be changed, and change is something that can be implemented on an everyday, on a consistent, on a now basis, on an immediate basis, on a basis that can take place and that can occur as soon as now, to be able to change the game, change the games, change the processes, change the mind, change the attention into the focuses of philanthropy energy, into the focuses of philanthropy, into the focuses of making a global ecosystem of cars a better place to be, like actual streets, like actual cars in different localizations, locales, in different places in the world, all over the place, that also are separated by different countries and different spaces that are all separate by countries, that are all separated by borders, that make them all actually separate. So there is a separation between all cars and all roads on every road in the world, but at the same time they should all be acknowledged as the same. They should all be able to play together, and there should be a better global car ecosystem, and therefore borders should not exist, because philanthropy energy in the business world, in the car world, in the people world, people as cars world, optimizes itself when everybody is acknowledged on the street and everybody can play together and play games together, because the global collective energy, the global collective process, the global collective mindset is much more powerful as a whole, much more powerful as a whole when everything is united integrated as one, and the global collective consciousness is operating as one, and it's facilitating itself as one specific focus in terms of this global game of philanthropy energy. Philanthropy energy is significantly important to acknowledge because philanthropy energy is the core focus, that is the fuel that makes every car run in an effective sense that has to do with assets, mindset, and assets behind it, because philanthropy energy is what causes problem-solving mindsets to occur and is the foundational energy within businesses and the business world, because the business is a game that constitutes the whole game that is around the whole world, that has to do with the direction of every single car and where every single car is going, and it's what guides every single car on the street in the whole world. And this is already a game that's being played. It just has to be acknowledged. It has to be understood and acknowledged, just like everyone's a car. And it has to be acknowledged and understood that the whole world is like a whole bunch of roads, and everybody's mindset is like a whole bunch of roads, and everybody's already on the same street because we're in this one single globe that's bound by gravity. So everybody is together already playing on this road, but we need to optimize the engineering system and the engineering process so that everyone can play together in a more harmonious sense, just as though it's acknowledging that everybody's driving on the street, so that there are far less compromises and less accidents, so everybody's more happy, and that things are more tuned and automated and electrified, so that everything is in sync and in tune, and everybody's optimization process is very much the priority. And bad business tactics and bad business directions and bad businesses that don't run on philanthropy energy, that run on more like sugar, basically, that run on negative energy, that run on negative directions, that just want to earn more money, which is more sugar because it's basically useless properties that don't help people in the world. And there's plenty of businesses like that in the world. So all those businesses need to change their fuel into philanthropy energy so that everybody can be able to flow better together in the world. And everybody needs to realize this, so everybody's single power can in a single-minded, single way, be able to work together and optimize itself together for the good of everybody else. After all, it is very much for the good of everybody else. It is not about optimizing for the certain people that are able to run their their vehicles on sugar, because sugar, which could be an analogy for money, it's a negative form of fuel, and it's not helping the whole ecosystem of the road. And a lot of vehicles go by the wayside, a lot of vehicles fall off the street, a lot of vehicles are forced to not be able to function because this ecosystem runs on fuel that's not functionally acknowledging everybody on the street, and therefore this road system is a little bit defunct. It's a little bit out of whack. It's not perfect. It's not working. It's not functional. It's not helping. It's not helping the global ecosystem. So therefore, everybody's got to change actively their process, their mindset, their focus, their attention that they invest in, because they have the choice to change it. They have the choice to change all of the ability for their neighbors to see the same thing, similar ways, so that everybody saw in a conscious way that Tesla vehicles were better choices, because after all, their energy was the best process to be able to function the best way. And after all, once the market realized that the best process for using the best cars on the street was Teslas, because it was the most efficient and fuel energy efficient and mechanically efficient and safety efficient process and vehicle out there, that the whole attention of the market shifted in that direction, and it became a dominant force in the marketplace for that reason. And that hopefully is the trend that needs to continue to go. And as far as people realizing that they are vehicles and being able to actively change their process, their ability to acknowledge their ability to change things actively as that, and change the marketplace as simple and quickly as that the whole world and the whole ecosystem world and every vehicle in the world and the whole world is able to be acknowledged as a vehicle to begin with, and it can therefore be acknowledged and enlightened, and the light for every single vehicle can then turn on and be optimized in the road of life, and every single vehicle that is a human being in the road of life is able to work in synchrony and play together and work together, so that everyone and every vehicle can be serviced and happy every single time, at every single time of every single day on an every single day basis, so that everybody in the global ecosystem is therefore able to be running on clean philanthropy energy, fuel energy, and everyone in the world is therefore running in a more peaceful and melodic and methodical way that is harmonious to the whole world and of itself. And we can all help each other. Every single person on earth can help each other in this global ecosystem, and the synergy of all people's energy can therefore be realized and come together and realized in the realization factor that hopefully is relevant in this podcast. Oh yeah. oh yeah, yeah. And just to end with a little tidbit, that acknowledging everybody's vehicles is a vehicle to begin with, and everybody is an investor and investing every day to begin with, that it is also possible to help other people grow their own vehicles, improve their own vehicles, and every neighbor can help grow and improve their other friends' vehicles. And that also is an analogy for a business known as a marketing agency. An SMMA, a social media marketing agency, is another way to put it, because social media is a tool to be able to leverage and improve and clarify those pipelines of those vehicles, which it can change into philanthropy energy. So yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Dinky Tehc is trying to be a proponent of that energy. So please inquire within also if there's a way that it's possible we or I can help in the process of changing people's pipelines into philanthropy energy to be able to cleanse and improve the nature of vehicles. Oh yeah, and once you really realize and learn this skill also, that you can help grow other people's businesses, and you are also rewarded in a monetary sense, and this can become a job for anybody to be able to have sort of a social media marketing agency that runs on philanthropy energy. So yeah, continue to inquire within, continue to stick with this podcast, continue to study social media marketing, so that also you can empower yourself, so you can gain monetary reward, you can gain monetary energy by understanding this aspect of the fuel lines of people and all of their vehicles and all of their cars. So you can help cleanse and clarify the people's lines of energy in all of their cars and vehicles around the world to be able to grow your own version of a social media marketing agency, so that you are able to grow your own monetary reward, and you can grow people's businesses and grow people's processes, including businesses or just individual cars, because everybody is a car, everybody's an investor, everybody is a player in the games, in this life world, because there's no choice, because we are all cars, because we are all functioning on a day-to-day basis, and all of our energy is functioning on the road of life every single day. So just acknowledging this and being able to improve everybody's process and their energy and their pipelines and their flow of philanthropy energy is what the cause is, and the energy is, and the flow is, to be able to improve the whole world on a day-to-day basis by actively implementing this knowledge and actively trying to help people grow their businesses, because you get a commission for helping grow them to grow their business, because once they realize they can grow it to begin with, then obviously they're happy to compensate you for being able to acknowledge and help to use better tools, and like philanthropy energy, improve the whole global ecosystem one bit at a time, just like governments are able to compensate people by giving them tax breaks by them doing philanthropy and such, and them not having to pay taxes because they do good in the world, and then they therefore are rewarded in a commission sense by not having to pay taxes after all, and that is the same thing as earning money. Thanks again, Dinky Tehc. Bye for now. Bye.